Hey everybody, we're doing the acids, bases, and buffers lab today. So this is the lab write-up. You guys should have read through this already. I have got a beaker of tap water here and some buffer, and I've got some blended liver. You guys can still talk, it's okay. Oh no, it's all good. There are some students in here, so you might hear some background noise. Another thing that I have for this is pH paper. So what's going to happen is I'm going to dip the pH paper into the different beakers, and it's going to change the color. I'm going to be matching it up on this color scale to see what the pH of my solution is. Okay, so we're going to go part A here, and we've got tap water, adding hydrochloric acid, 1 drop at a time, up to 5 drops, and then 5 at a time up to 30. I'm not going to do every single drop on video. I'm just going to show you a few, and then I'm going to fill in the data table, and you all can use that at home. Okay, so here is my tap water. Here's my 0.1 molar hydrochloric acid. So, with 0 drops, I'm going to put my pH paper in. Okay, and this matches up with pH of 7, which is good because tap water should have a pH of 7. Okay. Hydrochloric acid, 1 drop. Give that a little swirl. I'm going to put the pH paper in again. And again, this matches up pretty nicely with the 7. Okay, I'm going to skip ahead a bunch of drops. Okay, this is like 15 drops now. I'll fill in the rest of the table so you can see what it looks like 1 drop at a time, but I just want to show you what it looks like after you've got a bunch of acid. Okay, so now you can see it's a bit of a different shade. It's kind of more of a pinkish color, and this looks more like a pH of 4. You guys can, see that? Okay, so that is the water with hydrochloric acid. I'm going to do water with sodium hydroxide now. So 1.1 molar sodium hydroxide. All right, so again, I put a pH strip in, and it's 7, which tap water has a pH of 7. And then let's start adding some sodium hydroxide. So 1 drop. Have a look at this. That's still a 7. Okay, and then I'm just gonna skip ahead to 5. And at 5 drops, I'm gonna pull this out. And it is closer to an 8 now, but an 8. And then we're gonna skip ahead to about 15 drops. I just dropped a bunch of sodium hydroxide in there. Okay. So now this is closer to about an 11 on here. So the pH has gone up quite a bit. Okay, and I'll fill in the rest of the table, but basically the hydrochloric acid was bringing the pH down and the sodium hydroxide was bringing it up. Next one is a buffer. So this is a 7 buffer, so it's going to have a pH of 7 to start. So pH of the first one is 7. Good. So now we're going to do the buffer with hydrochloric acid. So 1 drop, swirl, pH paper, and it's still a 7. I'm going to fill the rest of this chart in, but that's 10 drops. Swirl that around. pH paper goes in. and it's still 7. So our buffer is pretty consistent at 7. Buffer again, this time with sodium hydroxide. So with a base this time, the first reading is going to be 7. And then I'm just going to skip right into 5 drops. Put that in there. And that is still a beautiful pH of 7. So we'll fill the rest of that table in as well. So now kind of the point of this lab is to actually look at the pH of liver and see how that changes in response to an acid or a base. This is kind of gross. It's a blended liver. So what I'm going to do is put this pH paper in here. Now it's a little bit hard to read. It's kind of got some liver on it. But yeah, I would call that a 7, which is what I want it to be. So that's good. Well, not what I want it to be, but what it should be. What I was expecting. Okay, and then I'm going to start with 5 drops of the hydrochloric acid. Just because I don't want to do every single drop on this video or it would take forever. And then, so it's 5 drops of hydrochloric acid, pH paper in, and jab it off. Now, it actually didn't change from 7. So it's still a 7 on there. So this is really similar to the buffer, where if I put hydrochloric acid in, it's going to maintain a really similar pH. So you'll see on the chart, pretty much all the way down, it's a 7. It does change if you put enough base in. Okay, and then I've got another thing of blended liver. It's really disgusting, you guys. And I'm going to do the same thing, but with sodium hydroxide. So again, the base reading for this was a 7. And then I'm going to go right to 5 drops. 5. Swirl that around a bit. Yum. Put that in there. And aside from the chunk of liver on there, the pH is a 7 still. And let's just do, let's just go up to 30 drops. So that's 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, we'll go to 20. So that's quite a bit. And let's see our pH. So you'd expect this to be quite different if this is just tap water. But, ooh, it is still about a 7. Okay, cool. So you all can check the data tables in the lab and read through the rest of the procedure as well. But I just wanted to kind of show you what we were doing and give you a little bit of a sense of what this lab is. And find the off button.